Hi, here we are again. We're going to continue on with Julian's Glorious Summer. Still sitting out here on my balcony, but the shade has started to cover me. So, when the sun goes away, sometimes it feels a little bit cooler where you are. So, even though the sun is out when I show you the pond, um, you'll see that it's sunny out there. It's just where I am, I'm covered, so I'm a little chilly. It's still so nice outside, though. I hope you've had a chance to get outside and play a little bit and that you're staying safe. You want to make sure you're staying away from other kids. I know it's hard. It's hard for me to be away from my friends, too. Um, all right, so I believe we are on chapter 4, and chapter 4 is called I Get Lucky. And if you remember right, we had a cliffhanger. That's where the author leaves you hanging and you wonder what's going to happen next. So when we left off in chapter 3, Julian was saying, "Just a minute." I said, "I can explain." And I told my brain to come up with something fast. And he was trying to give his dad some excuses for why Gloria had told him that Julian had to work all summer and that dad was mean for making him do that. So Dad wants to hear Julian's side of the story. So that's what chapter 4 is called, I Get Lucky. We're going to see how lucky Julian is. Now, when I turn you to the pond, there's some guys out there fishing. So you're going to see them walking around. I'm going to turn you so you see a different corner of the pond. And so you may see some people walking around and fishing. And we've had some ducks flying in here. So hopefully you'll get to see a little of that. Get you situated here. So hard to tell where I have you turned. Okay, I think you can see most of the pond area where they're fishing near the trees. Let's try and get there. All right, chapter 4, I Get Lucky. Gloria didn't understand, I said to my dad. I did tell her you had a lot of jobs around the house, but what I meant was I want to work a lot this summer. I want to save money for when I'm a grown-up, I added. My father got into one of his thinking positions. He spread his feet out. He curled his right hand up in a fist and stuck it between his knees and his chin like a brace. "Now, let me try to understand this," he said. "You are 7 years old. You want to work practically night and day all summer long to save money for when you're a grown-up?" "Yes," I said. "I want to save money for a race car." "Do you know how much a race car costs?" "Not exactly." "But you want to work practically night and day all summer long to buy one." "Definitely," I said. I guessed what my father would say next. I guessed he would say he didn't have that many jobs for me. In my mind, I practiced saying, "That's okay, Dad. I don't mind." My dad said, "Well, Julian, you're in luck. I think I can keep you busy practically all day, all summer long." "We'll skip the nights," he said. "Well, what do you say, Julian?" "Terrible," I said. I mean, Ter- I mean, terribly nice of you. I mean, work, wonderful. What luck." I raised my hands to heaven the way Dad does. Then I collapsed on the grass, and I didn't get up for a long time. So let's see if I can show you real quick without moving too much. Picture from the book. So there we go. We've got Julian with his hands raised to the sky. And believe it or not, that was the end of chapter 4. It was very quick. So I'm going to go ahead and add chapter 5 to this one. Chapter 5 is called To Each His Own. Right after lunch, my dad offered Huey the same great opportunity he offered me to work all summer. "No, thanks," Huey said. "I'd rather go play at Gloria's house." And he left. "More sharp rocks for you, Huey," I thought. But pretty soon there was not even time to think about sharp rocks. My dad gave me my jobs. To begin with, I polished 12 pairs of shoes, including 2 pairs my dad had been saving for a dog to chew, if we ever got a dog. Then I swept the porch. Afterwards, I brushed cobwebs off the porch ceiling. Cobwebs are spider webs that are up in the corner and under the eaves all around the house. When I finished that, it was 4 o'clock. I sat down. My neck ached from reaching high to get all the spider webs. I pushed my head around with my hands to make sure it still moved as many ways as it used to. I wasn't sure it did. At 4:30, my dad came home from the shop. "Hello, Julian," he called. He came over to check on the work. "I think we're practically all out of jobs around here," I said. My dad looked at me. He had little orange sparks in his eyes. "Don't worry, Julian," he said. "I'd hate for you to be out of work. There are still plenty of jobs for you." And then he got me started weeding the garden. One good thing I noticed about weeding the garden, once my back started to ache, I forgot about how my neck felt. "What luck," I said to myself. "Maybe in a few days I'll just be numb. Nothing will hurt. And when the summer is over, I'll go to the hospital for a long vacation." Pretty soon Gloria pedaled up on her bike. She laid it carefully on the grass. "Huey couldn't keep up with me, so here I am," she said. "But I can't stay long. My mom is expecting me back." She stood with her thumbs in the belt loops of her blue jeans, staring at me. Then she whispered, "Julian, your dad is really doing it? He really is going to make you work all day and all night, all summer long?" Here's a picture of Julian in the garden weeding with Gloria coming up with her bike. "Only all day," I said. "He really is mean," Gloria said. "Well, not actually," I said. "Actually, I want to work. Actually, it was my idea." "Your idea," Gloria said. "Yes, I want to save money to buy a race car." "You're going to work all summer. You want to?" "Pretty much," I said. My forehead was sweaty. I wiped it with the back of my hand. Dirt from the weeds trickled down my neck. I thought, of all the not quite true things I have ever said, this is the not quite truest of all. "Well," Gloria said, "to each his own." I didn't know what "to each his own" meant. Usually I wouldn't ever have asked because I don't want Gloria to know when I don't already know something. But I was living under emergency conditions. It was too much trouble to pretend I knew everything. I decided that if I wanted to know something, I would just go ahead and ask. I asked. "It's something my mother says," Gloria answered. "It means each person has his or her own way of doing things. And his or her, oh my goodness, I'm messing that up big time. Let me try again. It means each person has his or her own way of doing things and his or her own things to do. It means if you want to work all summer, it's not for me to say you're crazy. You might not be crazy, even though I think you are." "To each his own," Gloria said again, and she left. In a little while, Huey came up. "Julian," he said, "may I help you weed?" "Sure," I said. I wondered why Huey wanted to help. I had to give him credit. He worked hard. We got the whole garden done before supper. "Thanks a lot, Huey," I said when we put the tools away. "It's nothing," Huey said. "Anyway, Gloria told me I had to help you. She said I should be very kind to you because maybe your brain is out of order." "Oh, really?" I said. My back was out of order. My neck was out of order. My fingers were out of order. My legs were out of order. On top of that, my best friend was insulting my brain. "Come on, brain," I said to it. "Lead me to dinner." And it did. Not only that, it advised me to sneak upstairs and take the sharp rocks out of, oh my goodness, I'm tripping over my words. Let me try that paragraph again. And it did. Not only that, it advised me to sneak upstairs and take the sharp rocks out from under Huey's mattress so he wouldn't stop helping me. So that's the end of chapters 4 and 5. So hopefully you were able to see some of those pictures. I know it's a little hard for me to tell because, like I said, the reflections. So I want to just make sure you saw the pictures for those chapters. So in chapter 4, this is the one with Huey putting his hands up to the sky. I'm sorry, Julian. when his dad was talking to him and saying that yes, he did have work. And here's the big picture of Julian and Gloria in the garden. And again, we're right up to chapter 6. So we're getting close to the end of the book. I hope you stay with me to the end. See you later.